Hi, everyone. This is Belle with Pop Culture Uncovered, and I am here with.
Pete,
Hi,
what's up,
Pete.
Belle?
How are you doing, Pete?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm wonderful. We are going to speak about something that I never actually thought would happen, which is Spaceballs 2.
Spaceballs 2.
Um, I'm not even going to preamble. I had no desire to see this when it was announced until
Really?
none.
Hmm.
None whatsoever. My concern was, as much as I love Mel Brooks, I grew up on Mel
Hmm.
Brooks. I grew up on Mel Brooks, Richard Pryor, Bill Cosby, Eddie Murphy. I grew up on them. And where Eddie Murphy has grown and adapted and changed in his comedy as he has gotten older and his points of view have changed, a lot of these older comedians have not. Prime example was I saw Ron White in March of this year. And for every one joke that was absolutely phenomenal, there were 10 jokes that were okay, well, this is going on too long and also is not funny. And one of the things I distinctly can trace it back to is the fact that these comedians are speaking to an audience that's just like them. What I mean by that is, unfortunately, for a lot of them, they're talking to old men, be they old black men or old white men, who are in the same tax bracket as them, who are of the same race as them, and have had similar struggles, but not the same life experiences of the people that they are addressing. So that's how you get a Ron White show that who was one of our best storytelling comedians, that is boring, misogynistic, kind of racist, and and just not real,
Hmm.
not authentic.
I feel like those moments happen and they're almost more boring for it. Like,
Yeah,
as much as, yeah. As much as we hear comedians, writers, directors talk about, what they can and can't say anymore, like most of the time, I'm not offended. I'm just rolling
bored.
my eyes, man. Like, we're here again.
Yeah, yeah.
I saw the announcement too, for Spaceballs 2, and the whole time I'm like waiting for it to be part of like a commercial or something. Like, we've seen that, we've seen long-awaited sequels, or sequels no one asked for, sort of worked into like commercials and things. It's just a bit that they're doing, or a fundraiser, like we saw for things like Red Nose Day, and so I don't know if I really even believed it, and the crawl's still going, and I'm like, oh, maybe a fan did this, and then you see that it's real, and you're like, I don't even know how to describe this. The crawl talks about, basically all the movies that have taken place, all the movie franchises that have had movie after movie after movie in the time since the original Spaceballs was in theaters. And it's kind of an old, tired joke. It made me immediately think of History of the World Part 2, which we watched. It took place over several episodes, several days we watched it. And it was just kind of there. Like, the jokes weren't really different than Mel Brooks jokes. It's just that, Mel Brooks comedies were the foundation for a lot of the comedies that we see now, and a lot of the humor we see now. And so it isn't that it was, that it's played out, or it isn't that, it's not good anymore. It's just that, like, needfully, comedy has moved past that point. And it's moved past that point because Mel Brooks got us there to begin with. And so, it can, I think, could be easy to just sort of roll our eyes at these jokes and be like, oh, this is just not it. When it's also tricky because Mel Brooks is like in his 90s, right? Like, this is So it's I feel like watching History of the World Part Two really reset my expectations because I walked away from it. I was like, you know what? I'm glad it was made. I don't care that most of it, like the jokes, didn't land for me, and I was kind of like, um, Mel Brooks was having fun the whole time. The people he brought into the fold, were having fun the whole time, and it's for a lot of us, Mel Brooks movies take us back to our childhood. And so for me, it's just that, man, I saw that movie so many times, I don't really laugh at it anymore. But I still am excited to see it. I don't care if it's not funny at all. I don't care if it's corny. I don't care if, the jokes are kind of like old Mel Brooks jokes. Like the fact that Mel Brooks is still alive, kicking, and was like, you know what? Instead of just sitting at home and counting my money, I'm gonna just make another Spaceballs movie. Why not? And so I don't know if I have high expectations at all. I think I'm just excited to see what happens. Whether it's good, whether it's bad, I don't think it matters to me very much. Because I just kind of want to see what we get, and that's to me that's just good enough for me. And I think there's very few artists who give me that sort of feeling, who I could say that about. What he is still creating, and whatever he wants to put out there, he reminds me of. There's a lot of artists, directors, comedians, musicians, especially, who I want to see their perspective. I want to get that perspective. Maybe it's because I'm getting older, Bell. That like I'm like, let's hear it. Let's hear what uh let's hear what these folks, let's see what their perspective is, and I want to give Mel Brooks an opportunity to to impress, because I think one thing watching History of the World Part Two gave me was this impression that like Mel Brooks is letting underrepresented communities take the reins in a lot of the storytelling. It happened in History of the World Part Two. I expect it will happen in Spaceballs. It's something he's always done, and it's tricky to look through the 2025 lens, but we do know that Mel Brooks has always tried to speak honestly. We're gonna push envelopes, but we're gonna do it in a way that has a purpose.
I think that's one of the reasons why I'm willing to give it a chance, because Mel Brooks has been such a fundamental part of my life since infancy. I am not even
Hmm.
remotely joking. My mom listened to history. My mom owned History of the World, part one on 8 track. When I say I've listened to Mel Brooks since infancy, I mean I have listened to Mel Brooks since infancy. I've seen every movie that I could in theaters, including for my husband's 50th, getting Blazing Saddles um, on screen at the Senator to see for the first time on screen. Um, so he's such a huge part of my sensibilities because
Hmm.
he was one of the few white comedians who helped to center voices of color, who helped to center different perspectives, who used his platform to uplift others. And so that is, like I said, originally when I heard about this, I was like, oh my God, no. Because I keep thinking about that terrible, terrible, terrible animated Good Time show that made me want to punch a baby. Um, and so that that scarred me so badly. And then the announcement came. And that's when I was like, all right, I'm in. I felt like that moment in The Godfather Part 3. I thought I was out and they pulled me back in. The
Hmm.
announcement of Rick Moranis coming out of retirement
Hmm.
to reprise his role as Dark Helmet. Not even Kiki Palmer was enough to get me back. Not even Lewis Pullman was enough to get me back. But Rick Moranis was enough to get me back. I was like, all right, damn it, I'm going to have to watch it. I'm going to have to go see it on opening night. And that was not my plan. But I love Rick Moranis. He has a special place in my heart because of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids and Little Shop of Horrors. Those two films were such a big part. Those were films that we owned, and we wore out the VHS tape of those films so much that my mom had to go and buy new versions because she and I watched them together so many times that Rick Moranis was such a huge part, and I have such a huge love for him on so many levels. Just thinking about it makes me kind of like tear up a little bit. I just love him so much. And so him coming back, I was like, all right, damn it. All right, fine. You got me. So
I mean, it's Rick Moranis. That Daphne Zuniga's coming back.
yes.
I'm excited. Look, I've already made this decision, Belle. Like, I'm going to see it, and even if it's bad, I don't care. Even if it's dumb, I don't care. Like, it's Spaceballs. It was never not dumb and bad, and also awesome, and
And
also
also
hilarious,
awesome.
and also like full of heart. I mean, that's what Mel Brooks does. Is even if I'm not, even when I don't think it's funny, I'm having a good time. Mel
Yes.
Brooks knows how to just sort of be like, we're gonna be silly together, and it might not be like, this. It might not reach this legendary level of hilarious, but the whole point is like, did you have fun watching it? And I
Yeah.
think that's the part that makes it easy to get caught up in the nostalgia of Mel Brooks. Is that I can rewatch a Mel Brooks movie and just enjoy it for different reasons every single time. Hopefully, it's very good, but I am perfectly fine if it is very bad.
I think that is it in a nutshell. If it's good, praise God and pass the ammo. If it's bad, we're still going to have a good time. Just because seeing our whole cast who are still alive back on screen would make it worth it. And that
Mhm.
to me, especially since a lot of these people, we don't know. We don't know how long we're going to have them. So if we can give them their flowers while they're here, then let's do it. And I'm fine with that. So y'all got me. You got me back. I wasn't
Mhm.
planning, but you
It
did
took
it. So.
it took nothing, Belle. I won't lie.
I won't say I'm excited, but I am cautiously optimistic. How
That's
about
fair.
that?
That's fair.
On that note, this is Belle Pop Culture Uncovered. You can find us at PC Uncovered on Instagram, Threads, and Tumblr, popcultureuncovered.com, Pop Culture Uncovered on Facebook and Patreon, where you can support us, and YouTube, where you can support us by either liking and subscribing to our YouTube channel, or on Patreon, you can become a patron for as little or as much as you want. And that allows us to do more in-person events as well as to really reach out to our community and be a part of the community. So if you want to do either of those things, please feel free to do so. We love you guys.